Hi, my name is Elle Ross. I'm Director of Farm to School for the Hardin School District in Hardin, Montana. So Farm to School in Hardin started with the Food Corps program. I was the first Food Corps service member back in 2015, and then I just never left. I've been very lucky to have support of the district throughout the last 7 or 8 years now, eventually becoming the Farm to School director. For us, that really looks like connecting classroom, cafeteria, and community. We've had a great education component, being able to expand Farm to School into weekly or biweekly lessons for K-5 across 3 of our schools. Now we're working a little bit more on the infrastructure piece, trying to get more of that built infrastructure for our students to be able to have opportunities. That means building a greenhouse and high tunnel, and being able to work the curriculum into everyday school in the classroom, as well as having opportunities to try new things in the cafeteria, and then being able to take those lessons home and see it in the community as well. My job as Farm to School director is to coordinate the food, garden, and nutrition education throughout the district. So that really means figuring out a school-wide culture of health in all of our schools across the district. What that means, especially for our students, it's really engaging with place-based learning, hands-on learning, being able to interact with your food, to know where it grows, how it grows, what it should taste like. And then so a lot of times we get to play with our food, eat our food, and make our food. So we found a lot of success in collaboration, both with teachers, students, and community members, making sure that we're really paying attention to finding lessons that make sense for the area that we live in. Also have a great relationship with local farmers and ranchers. When they learn about what we're doing, or when we've had their students in our classroom, it creates this wonderful opportunity to get to see what they're doing and what we're doing and how we can all work together. We've had farm field trips. We've had farmer in the cafeteria, where students get to meet their farmers, see what they grow. During COVID, we also created virtual farm field trips. So being able to have some of that long-standing curriculum that will be able to be shown throughout the years, as well as just getting back to that in person, being able to taste a carrot that you picked and is covered in dirt. And so it's been really great to have such a supportive community, as well as see what's happening throughout the community, being able to support what's being done, and then bringing that back into the classroom, and then taking what's happening in the classroom and carrying it out. One of the major aspects of our program is also food access, making sure that students understand food isn't just coming from the grocery store, but it's coming from the ground. And so really having the opportunity to engage with the land where food comes from and how it grows. We are super lucky to have such connection within our district. And so we may be in one classroom and then go to another school, and that has the brothers and sisters or cousins or family members. So making sure that we're connecting across all of the schools and having a district-wide approach so that they can have those conversations around the dinner table or in the car, and making sure that everyone's getting a piece, continuing on that education throughout whatever grade level, and whatever different access points make sense for that age group. One is the access piece, that if we're introducing something, it has to be something that students then have access to in our grocery stores that isn't at a crazy price. Something that is affordable and accessible and delicious. Really, I mean, our program definitely has been a lot of ups and downs and high highs and low lows. For us, it's been really hard to maintain that education position when Food Corps left the state. It really forced us to look at our program and figure out the self-sustainability of the program. We have since created a traditional and nutritional food specialist position to carry on that education component. But it looks different in each school. We've had a lot of success early on in growing the program, and then figuring out how to sustain that growth has had a lot of challenges. And so that's why we kind of have taken a step back, and we have to just remind ourselves that that's still growth too. And so it's felt like a lot of one step forward, two step back. And we've done a lot of really neat things that we're super proud of. But one of the things that we're really focused on now is that sustainability piece, figuring out that if we're going to do something, how do we do it for every year, each grade, whatever the curriculum is, and having that staying power, so that there's such a demand for it that it doesn't go away. I mean, I'm the first one to say it, and that I'm a white lady from St. Louis. I'm not from the community, but I've been here for about 10 years now. And so I have a lot of buy-in, but I can't do it alone, and I shouldn't be teaching on traditional foods, and we shouldn't be ignoring traditional foods. So it's been an incredible way of reaching out to the community to be able to understand, to continue to learn. And through that, we've found that our community has so many resources, whether it's individuals coming, inviting them into the classroom, inviting them into the cafeteria, or planning something around their knowledge, um, or just Little Bighorn College Library. There's tons of resources, there's tons of experts. They also have a garden. And so even though we were interested in creating a school garden, they had one built. And so partnering with them to be able to have field trips where students are just walking down the block, and being able to celebrate what's already happening, and really seeing the opportunities that are within the community itself. For our program, one of the things that has been really successful in trying to have more local foods in the school lunch program has been the Harvest of the Month program. So it's allowed us through Farm to School to purchase smaller quantities, to really build the relationship with the farmers, to then have on our salad bar as a taste test, and have that, to be able to be talked about in the classroom, and tasted in the classroom and reflected in the cafeteria. And then that through that built relationship, we're able to hopefully scale up. And that's something that we're working on really hard right now, is to be able to have it consistently on the menu, so that the farmers and ranchers can plan, so that they know what we're needing. Because I think a lot of people forget that schools are a huge revenue source for farmers. We're a huge market, to be able to be selling to. And so being able to have that, community dollar spent within the community, not only helps the local food economy, but it also gets to the health equity for our students. For us, building relationships with farmers, has been pretty informal. We've been super lucky that it's great to be able to call up or text the farmer and say, hey, what do you have available? But one of the things that we're working on is really making sure that it's a part of, school culture and part of the school nutrition program, so that if the farm to school director isn't here, or if the school nutrition director changes, that, that piece, that aspect is still continuing. So one of the ways that we're looking to do that is to incorporate it into our school wellness policy, and really get it into the policy of the district, and make sure that that's the set standard going forward. For us, it's also, we're at the point where we are big enough and interested enough, to be able to purchase more than just at the salad bar. And a lot of that looks like reaching out to local food hubs. And so also figuring out what we can do on our end to improve transportation and access and that distribution. A lot of times we hear, of course, we go to Billings, and then we're like, what about those extra 45 minutes for us? And so figuring that out, the logistics of it all can be a huge headache, but there's so much work being done throughout the state, that it's really encouraging to see. And I think having the conversations is the best place to start. Ask questions, don't be afraid to reach out. There's so many amazing farm to school programs that make sense, for each area, for each demographic, for each, size of student population. So we've been super lucky And it's just a great farm to school community to be able to reach out and say, hey, what are you guys doing? Or, oh, we've been talking about that for years. How did you do it? And any idea that I've had somebody's already had it and has probably done it better. So it's been really nice to be able to just collaborate and talk through things and see what makes sense for us, and learning from each other as we go.